Hi, shalom everyone, Shabbat shalom. We are doing Masechet Bava Batra, page number 18. That's Yud Chet respectively. I thought I will, just while I'm driving, obviously I'm going to concentrate totally, just share some words over within regards to today's stuff. I've got my specs on, and I'm not going to be able to look at the screen the whole time. I'm going to be concentrating on the road, but I will speak away within regards to another fantastic page of the Masechet Daf Yomi. In fact, if any of you is wondering where am I going, I'm going to do Shabbat shopping. Usually my daughter comes with, a 3-year-old, but she was fast asleep before, so I will very much go by myself now. Just drop the kids off to school. My son is a Shabbat daddy, and here I go underway to do the Shabbat shopping. Friends, we're in page Yud Chet, that's naturally page number 18 in Masechet Bava Batra. So what's going on in today's Dafim? It's like there's an encyclopedia at the moment of how you treat your neighbor in these pages of the Gemara we're learning all about. We know some people have the best neighbors in the world. Some people might have the neighbors from hell. Actually, many years ago, there was a Australian program called Neighbours. Actually, that was on the British TV. It was like the most popular show while growing up. But neighbours. Friends, what's going on over here? It's how important it is to have good neighbours, and we see that very much in today's stuff. And the Gemara and the Mishnah, it's going to give advice in these dafim, in this parak that we're in at the moment, of what the code of conduct, how you are to behave with your neighbor within different kinds of rules. For example, friends, if you are growing leeks, you should not grow it near your neighbor's onions. That's one thing. For example, if you've got mustard plant seeds, this is something that very much a lot of people will have, mustard plant seeds growing for one reason or another, one should not put it next to the neighbor's bees over there for some reason or another. But if you're soaking water flax, for example, there's another example that is used, you should not put these water flax that is being soaked near your neighbor's vegetables. These can all have a detrimental effect to the neighbors. And friends, I want to share over something that happened to me, I think a week ago. It was how sensitive you've got to be for your neighbors, even the smallest thing over here. My neighbors, they are Hebrew speaking, so I don't think they're going to be able to watch this. So, and you technically don't know who my neighbor is, one of the neighbors is, so you won't be able to calculate it anyway. So, a case scenario, it's not necessarily on this stuff itself. With this car over here, you see this example, I was driving and parked the car. We've got a very small car park in our apartment. It's not like a huge space to actually put your car inside, so it's very squashy. So I put this car, which I'm at the moment I'm renting. At the moment, it's not my car. I don't own this car. So I put it in the car park, but it was a tiny bit of the wheel was actually touching the what's called the line of my neighbor's car park itself. It was touching the car. It's actually interesting gold line technology you've got in the football to see if the ball went through the net. We saw this, I think this happened the other day in the England-Spain Holland match where they nearly scored, but it wasn't through. So it was much touching, but the fringe of it was touching the curb of the neighbor, the line of the neighbor's car park. So the neighbor, he called me straight away. I was upstairs, I was busy doing something. They even came to the house to actually knock on the door and said, please move it, it's actually touching the line. So at the time I was thinking in my brain, just one of the neighbors, this is a bit too extreme, this is, so what's the big deal? It's touching, it's just touching the line, they can put their car in. So I come downstairs, they've got plenty of place still in their car park to put the thing, but then I looked at this stuff, the notes of this stuff, and they're correct. Because even the smallest thing you've got over here, when it's infringing on a neighbor's thing, in neighbor's space, people get sensitive to those things. And the Gemara in these stuffim, in these pages, since we started Bava Batra, it's relating even the smallest thing of a neighbor that can disturb someone else. You've got to be sensitive, and you cannot invade their space. And how important space actually is. It's so precious that people, God forbid, there were wars over a tiny bit of space that we were using in different locales of taking even an inch of something else. And that's even with a car park or any of these things, a produce that you're growing inside the farm or whatever it is, how much space is important, and people are sensitive, and they've got a right at the end of the day. It's his space, it's his car park, it's his field, it's his makom. Especially when you're in the yeshiva, especially when you're sharing the dormitories with other people over there. Inside the yeshiva, I remember when I was in yeshiva, you're sharing a room with someone else, and say they're bringing friends inside the room, and you've got a small enough space as it is, you know, that can disturb the person that's living there. So space is so important. Every single inch that someone has, respectively, of wherever they are, you know, the neighbor, the person must not encroach on someone else's places. And that's why we saw all those terrible protests that was taking place in all these college campuses. They're invading the space of the universities by doing all these protests. That's one thing for sure, how bad it is. But we've got to be sensitive for others. And even if we feel like we're not doing anything wrong and we're just taking a little bit of space of someone else's things, at the end of the day, you know, you cannot encroach on other people's spaces over here. I'm very lucky because I've got there's a public car park over here in this street, and I've got the best parking space, so I can do the Shabbat shopping now perfectly, which is very good. Got to give all this stuff to charity. I go to the mikveh just before Shabbat, so you're getting a sneak preview of Ramat Bet Shemesh Aleph here on an Erev Shabbat Parshat Chukat. This week it is. Over and you can actually see the car itself. And I'm going to bid you all a Shabbat Shalom. Guys, don't forget to watch over this, the 17th installment already here in Masechet Bava Batra. Oh, wow. Taking the buggy for the Shabbat shopping. I'll leave you guys with some scenes here of Ramat Bet Shemesh Aleph. Here, there's a road full of synagogues over here. I will lock this door. This is a city called Nachal, this is an area called Nachal Sorek. Here in Ramat Bet Shemesh Aleph. Over here, friends. As I just get ready to do the Shabbat shopping. I'd like to dedicate this to Lili Shmat, Avihu Ben Esther, my cousin's husband, who passed away very sadly last month. Over here. Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy.